movie is my favorite movie probably of all time, and I know what people are going to say, I like the Andrew Garfield version better, or I like the Tom Holland version better. For me, I prefer the Tobey Maguire version. There's a lot of things and reasons that go into that, right? You have the Sam Raimi as the director, you have David Koepp as the screenwriter, just all these excellent pieces that just make this just the best version, in my opinion. Spider-Man follows a shy teenager who, after being bitten by a genetically modified spider, gains spider-like abilities that he uses to fight injustice as a masked superhero and face a vengeful enemy. So I think something that may go unnoticed with a lot of superhero style movies is the lack of variety of shots and camera angles. And I think this is something where Spider-Man just shines, and it's part of why I love this movie so much. So again, this is still a superhero movie, but there's so many interesting shots and camera angles that you would traditionally see in a regular film about a normal person. Here you can tell that, director Sam Raimi and the cinematographer Don Burgess really worked to make this not just a good superhero movie, but a good visual movie in general. Now, one of my absolute favorite parts about this movie is the Green Goblin, who's played by William Dafoe. He's such an interesting person in the movie, and there's like a certain air about him, just with his character and how he plays the role, that make him such an interesting and amazing villain.
Hello, my dear.
It's Spider-Man!
I really enjoyed the fact that the Green Goblin is pretty evenly matched with Spider-Man, They have like a lot of similar attributes, The Goblin, he's fast, he has a lot of power in his strikes, and, just all those things together really just made for just a really excellent matchup.
I surrender.
Oh boy.
Hold it right there! Impressive!
Now, something interesting about this movie, and I think a big part of what makes it so good, is that as the movie progresses, things get more and more intense, especially the fight scenes. There's just something about how visceral everything gets between the Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
I offered you friendship, and you spat in my face.
This was just intense, And another thing I noticed as well is you can see that Peter Parker is feeling actual pain in these fight scenes, He's not just playing rock'em sock'em robots. And honestly, this whole fight scene just stuck with me because you can tell that it just felt so personal between these people. Something else that makes this movie so excellent to me is that there's just so many iconic scenes, scenes that just stay with you. One of them is the iconic upside down kiss between Spider-Man and Mary Jane. So look, I love this movie when I first saw it, and I still love it to this day. People may have their gripes about Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man, but
it's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
That's all I'll say on the subject, But anyway, this is an excellent movie, Not just an excellent superhero movie, but an excellent movie in general. It's a wild, fun 2 hours. And nowadays, there's a new superhero movie coming out, every month? So it's easy for things to kind of get lost in the shuffle. But I think this movie deserves to not be forgotten.